Hello everyone. In this video, I will be briefing you about FIN5063-1W6A2 case analysis. As a part of this report writing, we will be addressing an integrated mini case study related to calculating interest rates. See, based on the case study, the company is having two different options. One is investing in treasury securities. The second one is in investing in bonds. So based on the market risk premiums and other values, we are supposed to address these four questions. However, there is a requirement of writing 1500 words document. So I created a proper document structure which should be followed to complete the task. So this is the report structure that I have created. As a part of calculations, we will be creating like or calculating two different calculations. One is calculating a fair interest rate related to treasury bonds, and fair interest rate related to bonds, treasury securities and bonds. Okay. And then for both the values, we will be creating a yield curve. Okay. So these two values we will be calculating. So based on the calculations, we will be providing solutions, interpretations, and conclusions. So let me start explain you the document. The first section includes introduction section. In the introduction section, we will be giving basic introduction to the case. Then we discuss about two important options the company having. One is how it invested. It is investing in securities. The second option is it is investing in bonds. Actually, it is a treasury securities. Okay, treasury securities. So now what we do is like after giving introduction to case, we give a brief explanation about what kind of investment options the company is having, what are treasury securities, and how the company is going to get benefit because of investing in such securities that we will be discussing. Next, we discuss about investing in bonds. How investing in bonds will help organization, that is also should be addressed. Third point that we cover as a part of introduction section is we develop certain discussion on how calculating interest rate or estimating interest rates will help organization to understand uh, the returns that they are going to get on investment decisions. Okay, so the companies will be doing different type of investments, and based on the investment and the interest rate, how the company is going to get returns or how the company is going to pay interest to the banks or lenders, that we will be understanding. Here, as it is related to investment decision, mostly we'll be focusing on how the interest rate will affect investment decision that we will be discussing. This section should be addressed with 400 words. After completing this one, we start explaining calculation of fair interest rate. So there is a formula according to the textbook that is given to you. The main formula here is calculating fair interest rate. We calculate fair interest rate based on inflation premium, real interest rate, default risk premium, liquidity risk premium, and maturity risk premium. Okay, you can change this formula, maybe like FI R is equal. You can give your own abbreviations and you can abbreviate them. Maybe like this is IR, inflation premium, plus RIR, real interest rate, again DPR, DRP, otherwise DRP. Like this, you can abbreviate. Then you can mention what is IR. IR is inflation. Like this. You can make change to the formula, but it should be following the same format. You can change the way we use abbreviations and other things, but the formula should represent the same. Okay, here while calculating fair interest rate for treasury bonds, we ignore default risk premium that you should mention it in your content. Okay, we calculate in two different ways for calculating fair interest rate. One is for treasury bonds, sorry, treasury securities. The second one is for bonds. Here, while calculating fair interest rate for treasury securities, it is not necessary to include default risk premium because for government bonds, whatever the bonds that government gives, for that one, there will be no default risk premium. So this will be the formula for securities, treasury securities, and this is the formula for bonds. For bonds, the default risk premium will be existing. So you keep that in mind and also mention while discussing about your document, discussing the same concept in the document. Okay, make sure you develop your own formula the way I explained earlier. So that will be completed by that. Okay. So in addition to that, what we do is we try to describe what is inflation premium, how it will be influencing the investment decision, and how it will be influencing the interest rate that is calculated. Okay. So it will be directly related to the fair interest rate. So we are supposed to mention what is inflation premium and how it will be impacting the interest rate and investment decision that can be discussed. There are five important elements. Make yourself like maybe create a paragraph on that, how each element influences. Okay. So after that, we discuss about calculating yield curve. This is a formula. This is a formula for calculating yield curve, and where each element inside this is mentioned here. You can also transform this formula into your own style, where you can replace one RN with your own representation. Okay. So anyhow, you can use the same formula also. It is up to you because it is a textbook given formula. You can use it directly. So then, what yield curve explain how it helps in investment decisions. See, what yield curve explains is, let me show you examples. So for example, this is a yield curve. Just cross check this yield curve. This is a normal yield curve, which explains that economic situation of the market is very strong and it definitely helps the investment to get better returns. If it is flat, there will be no change in your yield. Okay. So throughout the period, a consistent return is provided. So whatever the investment you make, it definitely ensures that you get the possible uh, like whatever the mentioned flat return that you expect. Okay, it will not have impact of time on it. Okay, so for example, after 5 years also you get 3%. After 20 years also you get 3%. There is no change in yield based on the longevity you will be having. Whereas in normal situation, based on the longevity, the benefits you get, the return you get, the yield you get will be improving. There is an inverted thing. So usually, like when the inverted curves are identified, people will expect it to grow further. Maybe after certain period of time, they assume that it might grow and they will be investing in it. So usually, like long term, for long term purposes, people investing in inverted curves. Okay, in normal, when the graph is normal, usually for short term and long term we can invest. The flat, it depends on how many years you will be investing into it. So the same kind of return will be received. Okay, but when there is a inverted, either we will not invert in short term investments, and you invest if it is a long term goal, because there's a chances of getting increased over a period of. Okay, so this is how we interpret it. Most often, short term and long term, we go with normal type of investment, which it explains that economy is growing at stronger rate. Flat, this clearly explains that the possibility of getting higher returns will be low. So it all depends. Maybe for short term we can invest, and for long term it will be not a good idea to invest. And for inverted graphs, what we decide, it is a very not so strong economy in our country. So the possibility of investing will be low. Maybe for long term investments, people might consider that kind of investment. Okay. So what we do is this explanation should be provided here. So just cross check certain, like, see, if you look into this link, definitely you will identify. They explain how the yield curve will influence investment decisions. If you open it and just cross check, you can understand how the yield curve is interpreted and how it helps in decision making. You can take any internet based source and you can work on it. Okay. So make sure you work, like whatever you write, that should be in paragraphs. Don't give any bullet points. You write it in paragraphs. After that, case solving. So regarding that, I provided you different type of solutions so that, like most often, what people doing is they are taking same kind of data. They are doing hard work to modify the data. So what I did is I created four types of solution. You can randomly select any one combination of solutions. Okay. So for the first question, what is flat rate for securities? This is first question. Like whatever the thing that is at top, that is first question. Next, second question is this one table, and this is for third question. Securities graph and bonds graph is fourth question. Okay, see like this. Let me remember it. Otherwise, you just follow the video. Okay. So what is first option? Problem one explains that. What is the question that is asked? So what is the fair interest rate on 5-year treasury circles? Okay, this is fair interest rate on treasury securities. Okay, here this is the value. So we can take this table and provide a screenshot of this table in your document, and you can mention that year by year the value of fair interest rate identified to be increasing. So it clearly shows that the interest rate that will be paid over a period of time will definitely increase. Okay. So just cross check what is a fair interest rate, how we interpret it, or what kind of impact the fair interest rate calculation will have on your investment decision that should be discussed. The second one is for bonds, bonds related fair interest rate of bonds. Okay. So we calculate like this. Here, if you check in this default premium is not included, the calculation part. Okay, so only 1, 2, and 4, 5 are included. The third option is not included in the formula. Okay, so fair interest rate is calculated. Here we include default premium rate. So after creating these two one, we create a YTM value for every year. There is a little formula that is mentioned. We used the same formula and created it. Need not to change anything. Based on these values, we have created a YTM curve. This is YTM curve. So based on the YTM curve that is explained, this shows a normal curve. A normal curve states that the economy is very good. Okay, the economy is growing strong, so it is providing higher yield to investments. Okay, so this is what we say. This is government security, right? So based on the values, we can understand that there is a high yield that is providing to the investment. It clearly explains that the country's economy is growing strong. So similarly here also, this is also seems normal only because the graph is increasing over a period of time. So we say that based on the YTM graph of bonds, it is also clearly explains that there is a growth, there is a continuous growth in economy. When compared to both the values, the bonds have some consistent value, some larger value. Here the value is large, here the value is consistent. So a combination of both investments will definitely support the organization. Same kind of solution is provided in each question. The first question related information is this, and second question related information is okay, you can select any solution type based on which you will understand the answers. Okay. So anyhow, I will mark answers over here. This is first answer. This is first answer. Just check the solutions like this. First question, third question, second question, fourth question. So third and fourth question, we will be giving graphs. Okay. So, uh, so for first question answer is we take screenshot of this one. Okay. And we copy paste it here. Solution is that, and we provide interpretation, and we also discuss how the value influences the investment decision. For each section, I have provided 100 words requirement. So make sure you write it in 100 words. Okay. So you copy paste the graph in first table, you copy paste it, or like take screenshot of that one. Okay. You can change color also. You can change color and you can give your own screenshot here. Then provide interpretation to that. Then provide how that values, the change in values influence your decision. That should be explained. Next, again, second question is the second fair interest rate. This is fair interest rate for bonds. Bonds. They give screenshot of this one. provide interpretation, explain how the values influence your company. Next, the fifth question, we just make change to graph, maybe YTM of treasury securities YTM. Can change color and other things, maybe like this. You can change the way it should look. You can make needed requirements can be changed. Okay, so like this, and just give a screenshot of a graph here. Interpret the graph and how your interpretation is going to influence the investment decision should be explained. Similarly, for the fourth question also, you modify graph to similar style, maybe like this, and add values to that. You're supposed to add values to it always. Okay, so add values and submit it. Submit it here, interpret it, explain values. So based on the problems that we solved and the values that we received, and we know now like what kind of influence each value explains, we will be concluding it. So my basic conclusion is that investing in both the investments is good. It all depends on how the company decides because treasury bonds gives continuous returns to the organization. Whereas for bonds, there will be certain risk, maybe like based on the market conditions, it might vary. Okay, so default market risk will be included in bonds. So based on the default risk premium, the value of bonds might be changing. Okay, so the yield we get might change. So there should be some balance between both the things, treasury, purchasing treasury securities and bonds. There should be some equation. We should also include our investment in the area where we get higher premium. However, we should also invest in certain securities which will be providing us some standard yield, some good value of yield to the organization, so that if we experience certain risk with the bonds, we can overcome it. Okay, for sustainability issue, we maintain certain equilibrium between bonds and treasury securities. Right. So that is all from my side. And for this reference, I will share you a link. The book inside this link should be given as a reference. In addition to that, if you have took any information from outside while discussing about data, you can include those references. Okay, that is all from my side. Such a lengthy explanation. Make sure you provide a good writing, and it is very important that your document contains at least 1500 words. All the best, team. Thank you very much.